Hello, welcome. Time for more Haskell programming. Okay, so plan for today is to go back to logging. I spent all of the last episode looking at logging, and I turned it into an effect and plugged it into the API, and now we can say we have an effect and it can log info. And I added the app name and the current time into the log output. So it's a structured log output, and it contains fields for the app name and the current time now. That's all cool, but I want to go back and clean it up a bit because I'm not super happy with part of how the implementation ended up. So yeah, I'm just going to get started with that. If I can find the button, there we go. Cool. Okay, it's this I'm not happy with. This repeated logger with field. So I want to try and get rid of that. I guess in two-ish ways. I want, first of all, trivially, I want the logger with fields. And then some stuff, but that requires taking a set of log fields, or a set of something, but I think I'm going to call it log field. So we'll take a log field which consists of a name, so something like level, and then info, I guess, thing in there, and some other stuff, like some more log fields basically. But this is a little bit ugly, so I'm going to try and make this a little bit nicer by adding an operator. So saying something like level dot equals info, and a whole bunch of those. The dot info I stole from Jason, I think, from Mason. I can't remember. Anyway, that's where I want to end up today by the time I finished. The other thing, I see Tim is here. Tim suggested that I pipe the output of Cabal, or the output of running PAME or PAME through JQ. So I find a browser. Where's the browser? Here's the browser. Okay, so I reload that data and come back here, and it's logged this, and it's a little bit hard to read. And if you take that string, in fact, I did a very similar one here, and pipe it through JQ, it's nice and readable, which is super. So I thought, cool, let's pipe that through JQ. You can see I've tried this a couple of times. So first of all, let's just try something like that. So now it's running, and then go back to my browser and load the page, and come back here, and it has logged nothing, and that's really annoying me. I can't work out how to make the output from Cabal go through JQ and appear. I thought it was buffering, so I thought it to be unbuffered. I can't even remember R. Oh, I think -R is if you get a raw string it doesn't understand, just print it out as well. That doesn't seem to help. So if you've got any bright ideas about how to make JQ work, let me know. Otherwise, I'll try and remember to look it up in the interim for next time. But anyway, yeah, so it looks like tonight I'm not going to be able to pipe the output through JQ, which means we're going to be doing a lot of reading strings that look like this, which is a little bit annoying. There we go, such is life. Okay, logger with field, which I want to turn to logger with fields. So actually let me write out what this should be. So I have an L prime, but no L. Okay, what I really want to do is say let L equal logger.withFields, and then give it a list, and I want to say, this is for info, okay, cool. So I want to say level is equal to info. Let me just fix the indentation, sorry, it's getting a bit upset. Level is info, and current time is equal to current time, and message is equal to, would that equal? No, is that equal? The message that was passed in, which is S in this case. That's what I want, I think. Yeah, so so the logger with fields will also need to take the logger. Okay, so this doesn't exist yet, so it's not going to work. But it can at least format it for me. So let me go and try and write that. So with fields, given that some A is JSONable, so to JSON A, I'm going to take a base logger and I'm going to take a list of log fields, capitalize it. I'm going to return a new logger. Okay, so let me just quickly define log field. I think, is it going to be a data? It's going to be a type. Let's see what happens. So log field is actually going to be, I think we want to JSON A again. And it's going to take, it's going to be log field, sorry, constructor here, log field, and it's going to have text, which is the name of the field, and an A. And not in scope, so say for all A that. Okay, so that's my plan for what a log field is. It's a pair basically, consisting of a piece of text and an A. I can maybe define it as a pair, but I'm going to define it as this type with a constructor. And then with fields, given some logger of L, I got up here. Why logger of L? Why just L? Oh, because it's, I see the L here is the set of existing JSON pairs. Let's call this pairs. And some list of fields. What do we want to do with that? So I want to convert each of the fields, this pair of text and A, into a JSON pair. And then I want to, which I have done here actually. Right, so I want to turn this into, so I want to convert my fields into this. Okay, so let me just write a helper for this. So we can say where to pair, given some field. So it's going to be given a single log field, and it needs to produce a JSON pair, because that's how I'm storing stuff internally. I'm not sure I should store it as JSON pair actually. I should probably store it just as a set of log fields and then make that JSONable. Let me come back to that. I'll turn to JSON pairs to start with. So to pair, given some log field, so the log field is going to have a constructor, which is log field. It's going to have a key and a value. And I think that's all we do. That's going to turn it into, that is the definition of a JSON pair, I think. So now what I can do is I can say map the pair, the pair over the fields. And now this should give me a list of JSON pairs. So what I really want to do is take the existing pairs I have and do that. And then turn the whole thing back into a logger to do that. That's my plan. Okay. A couple of warnings I can get rid of quite quickly. So export that. Now, the problem here is type variable is ambiguous. I don't care. I'm okay with that. I think, I'm not sure, but I think ambiguous types means the compiler can't guarantee it can compile. It can't guarantee it can work it out, but in practice it will be able to. I think, I don't really know. I'll make it go away and see what happens. Okay, we now have this helper for with fields. So in theory, I can take an existing logger, I can call with fields on it, and get back a new logger. I wouldn't mind a test for this actually. I think. Yeah, let's write a test for this just to make sure it works. So eval. So we can have a logger spec, and in test we'll have logger spec. This might take it a minute. Just waiting for the LSP. While I'm waiting, I'll say module logger spec. And we'll export a single spec from here, where spec has got the type spec equals, and it combines log fields, I think. Maybe first of all it sets log fields, and I can say something like, have we got a base logger? How do we create an empty logger? I can create an app logger actually. That seems to work. But also we could just create an empty logger. So that's a base logger. So something like let L equal that. I'm not convinced the LSP is working. Kick it and see if it comes back. So we get a logger back, our base logger. Then we call it base logger. And then I can say something like, so that's our base logger, and L is equal to logger with fields, lowercase w. So that logger with fields, it takes the initial logger's first argument, it takes a list of fields, so I can say something like field 1 is, let me give it the number 1, 2, 3, tell what kind of number it is. And I'll let it indent itself in a second. I can say field 2 is the value something, and that's going to be some text. So that's very ugly, but anyway. And then I can say L should be, and then it should be a logger which contains a list of JSON pairs. So I need to work out how that works internally, but it's key.from text JSON.to.JSON. Basically that a few times. So it's going to be this with field 1, and the value is going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to tell it's an int. And then we'll have same thing again. So key.from text field 2 and JSON.to.JSON, and it's something which is type text. Right, everything's very broken. Let me just go to I'll build and see what it's most upset about. I can try and fix the tests. Logger with fields. Oh, the effects log is very broken. Right. Perhaps use that. I thought I exported with fields. Didn't save the file, mind you. Restart SP here. And these will be broken. Get rid of those for a second. I'll just give it an empty list. Okay. Oh, they were explicitly imported. Level and oh, it needs to be a log field, which I can't do yet. Okay, it doesn't like an empty list, it would appear. Let me do that. There we go. Okay, now show me what it's upset about. Nothing much. What does it think it's upset about? I'm okay with those. Okay, one error left. Restart SP. See if it will now kick in for me. I'm going to tie this up in a bit. Redundant bracket. Okay. Do something again here. There. Okay, now I can do some imports. Good, we're getting better. Import that. We'll import spec. What's all of these to the import? Wait, what's this problem here? Let me import logger. No, let me do that. Let me now import logger. It will not let me do it. Should be, we can import that. Did I not export the logger directly? I did. Wonder why it's not offering that. Import logger. Logger. Import logger qualified as logger. I need a constructor for logger, not just a type. Oh, okay, I didn't export the constructor. Do I want to? Maybe I'm okay. Actually, I can just pull in logger to up logger. Right, what I might do is in here, I'll put empty logger. So empty logger is logger with nothing in it. And I'll export that. So this can be empty logger. And bugger. I still can't get the constructor out. What else can I do? I don't want to export the constructor because I think that's wrong. I don't want people to ever explicitly create a logger. I want them to create a base logger and then add stuff onto it. I don't want to know what's inside the logger, so I'm basically hiding this detail. This is quite annoying. Can I turn this off? So git lens. I'll do it later. Okay. What else can we do with it? Turn to JSON, I guess, actually. So we say something like JSON.encode L should be, and then I hope I got some kind of quoting thing. So there is some kind of Haskell, what's it? It's like raw string interpolator or something. String text raw string QQ. In fact, is there, instead of a raw string quasi-quoter, is there a JSON quasi-quoter? Is an ASIN QQ? What does that do? Turns it into a JSON value. That might be quite good. Okay, let's try that. 084 ASIN QQ. ASIN QQ. Let's say 084, I think it was. So I need that language extension. And I need the right syntax. Something like that, and then hopefully I can import this in QQ if Cabal is finished. Nope. Import data.asin.qq. All right, data asin.qq, and explicitly I want ASIN QQ from that. Okay, what's gone on? Doesn't seem to successfully install that package for me. Command test. Okay. It didn't install it because in the test package, so it didn't show up when you just run Cabal build. Might have worked if I'd kicked the LSP, but I'm not sure. It's building a lot of stuff. It's probably quite complicated running a quasi-quoter. Obviously need a lexer. And so parser isn't happy. Alex is the lexer. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, so while that's building, I'll just listen out for the fan. It's going to be something like field 1 is 1, 2, 3, and field 2 is something. That's what I'm looking for. Probably not JSON encode anymore. It's going to be to JSON to JSON of the logger. That gives me back an object, but it gives me back a value. That's what we're hoping for. Okay. Well, still building. I need an even faster processor. Not much I can do while it's compiling, but when it compiles, I'm hoping to run this test. Well, to fix this import and this import. And then we should be able to run the test. It's gone a bit further. Come on. Is that the last one it needs? Yes. There we go. Cool. So restart LSP. But I can say import data.asin qualified as JSON. That should be enough. I'm not going to wait for it. I'm just going to run the test. Oh, module called JSON is imported. Oh, yes, good point. I haven't imported it here. It's in the library at the minute. Need that as well. Restart SP, but also assume it's going to work. And just run the test. Okay. Maybe. Let's see. So, got some more problems. Oh, I haven't imported it, and I haven't got empty logger. Back to logger. I'm going to export empty logger. Oh, I've done it twice, so I just didn't import it in the spec. Empty logger. And here it should be empty logger. Okay. Couldn't match this. Right, okay, so this is actually log field with 2 arguments and no comma in between. Did I export log field? No, I did not. Probably do need to export log field until I fix it. So here we should be able to import log field. Probably should export the constructor and import the constructor here. Okay. Put the brackets back in. There we go. Okay, and then the second argument for this is going to be log field, and it's field 2, and it's going to be something as text. Okay, and then the only thing I'm missing is it. And now we get ambiguous type again. Okay. Annotations to specify what A0 should be, which is totally fine, but what is A0 here? It's a lot of stuff. Oh, that's not helpful. So I want to know where this A0 comes from. Have a quick look at this. So with fields, I guess this is the A0 I was talking about. This is the constraint. I think implicitly it says that anyway. Oh, actually, maybe I don't need that. Maybe the constraint is not here at the moment. It's actually in log field. Because I wasn't using the A. That's why I couldn't work it out, I think. Yeah, that looks like it. Okay, yeah, so I couldn't work it out because I said the constraint here is saying to JSON A, but then I didn't use the A, so I couldn't work out what A was and then whether or not it satisfied the constraint. I think. Does it run? Look at that, maybe. Okay, these are broken. Don't know why that's the case. I do know why it's the case. Actually, I can come back to that. I'm only interested in the logger test at the minute. This is because, let me bring up a new window. I need to source test and envric. And now I can say cabal test. Okay. Terminal rename. Tests. Okay, anyway, right. Back to the spec. So now we know we can give it an empty logger, we can set some log fields, which is great, I guess. And then it merges log fields. Maybe combined rather than merges. I'm not quite sure what I want the behavior to be if you override something. I guess you want to override. So it combines log fields. And then we can say let base logger is app logger of test app. So let's pull in app logger. Oh, no, can't yet. Too sad to let me do that. And L is logger.with fields of the base logger and list of fields. I might just grab these ones. I made a right mess up. Okay. And I just drop that in. Actually, let me just call it, let me fix this first. So app logger, pull in, I might just a couple of times. So we can say L, and then we can say something like L prime is equal to logger with fields. This time starting with L and adding, I can't be bothered adding many of them, but I'll add one. So field 3. And what will I put in here? It doesn't really matter. Another thing which is also text. And then L prime should be field 1, field 2. Right, we've got a couple more things going on here. So we've got, what's the app name? Can't remember what it called it. I don't need to quote it because the quasi-quote does it for me. It's very nice of it. So app name is going to be test app. Can I make it go over multiple lines? Hoping indentation doesn't matter here. Well, no, indenting stuff is hard. So we've got field 3 is something, sorry, field 2 is something, and then field 3 is another thing. Okay, so I'm hoping that'll just work. It did not. Okay, it was app underscore name. That's why. It's reasonable. Okay, so that's kind of cool, but what I really wanted was not to have to specify a log field here, but to use an operator. So I can say field1 dot equals that, and field2 dot equals that. So I need to go and write this. I'm going to add it into the logger. So what are we going to say? I'm going to say func, not funk. God, what am I doing? I'm going to say this has got type, and what's the type of this? It's going to be very similar to log field. So I'm going to say for all a, given that a can be JSONed, is JSONable, given some text and some a, I'm going to return a log field. Okay, so then I can say key dot equal to v is equal to log field kv. And I can export this. That's all right. Whoops. Then go back to the test, and here I should just be able to import it. Okay, and do the test run. Look at that. It just occurred to me there's a shorter definition of this. Because the arguments in the same order, so I can just say this is equal to log field. There you go, just infixed log field. Okay, so I no longer need to export log field. That's now an implementation detail. I need to fix the other spec. So down here, these are wrong. Let me get rid of that for a start. So now these are wrong, and if I go delete the, oops, try it again. Delete those. And after that, hopefully, that should just work. Okay, I need an infix, or I should add an infix, I think. But I don't know what it should be. So let me look up other people who've done it. I just copy what they wrote. Infixer 8. There we go. Okay. So now hopefully we can start to get rid of with field. Probably always use with fields. And then use this syntax for building up the fields. Let's see, so is this used anywhere? No. Well, no, it's not. Let's get rid of it. I might actually need to have it back in a minute, but for now, let's get rid of it. And go back to the API. No, go back to here, sorry, to our definition of info. Okay, so we do want current time. Don't know why I commented that, or I'm just deleting it. Anyway. Okay, L is going to be logger, but it's not going to be logger. It's going to be this definition. Oh, they want to indent it a lot more. So where's our import of logger? Well, logger qualified. And then this I can import. And S is not in scope. Oh, because I commented out. Not commented out, but ignored it. Right. It doesn't know this, so I can say info is text. Okay. So this is my new definition of logger with fields, which is probably better. Probably. Not entirely certain. But I think it's better than sort of L equals something, L prime equals something, L prime prime equals something. It just actually builds up the fields in this way. I don't really like the way it's wrapped over multiple lines, but I don't think I can tell it not to. So just make sure it works, which is going to be command and pay me. I like having the JQ, so it's going to work. Bring this up. Okay, one thing it's not doing is logging when it starts. That's a little bit annoying, actually. So let me do another message. So where are we? In main, let's start with main. We run the connection. API run. I don't know if this returns. And we don't have the effect at this point either. Where do we have the effect? We have an API, I guess. Don't. We have in server. And we're actually handling stuff. This is where we actually log something. Okay, let's back up a bit. So we can go back up to main. It's already the app logger. So in theory, I could say something like logger dot. Oh no, it's the effect that does the logging. That's annoying. The logger just contains the concept of a log entry. Okay, so in the API here, can we say do no. Do. Okay, and I can say log.info log.info server started. Why can't I do this? Oh, because no, the type's not different. Well, it is kind of. We're in server T and I want to get the Fs, I think. I don't know how to do that from server T. What is server T? Good. Type to type to type. That's what I want to see. Okay, I can't log it there. That's annoying as well. Okay, do you know what? I'm going to leave it for now. I just want to see if it works. So back here, if I reload this page, get rid of that, we can now see that it does indeed still log exactly the same things it was doing before, but I'm building it in a slightly different way. Very exciting. Okay, can I use this for much fun? So I've got an info. But what I'd quite like is some way of saying maybe like an info with fields. Or do I want to say with fields and then use that to log? So let's start with fields. And this goes from a list of log fields and I need to export this type, I think. And it gives me back a log thingy. Okay, back to logger. I need to export log field, the type, but not its constructor, hopefully. Let's place it. Okay. And I need to define with fields. Actually, a couple of things. One, I need to export with fields, so as people can call it. So with fields. Oh, hang on a second. It doesn't give me back a unit at all. It needs to give me back a new logger. So run log is given the logger. And then it's just held in scope. So actually modifying the logger is a little bit awkward. Let me not do that for now. So info with fields, or maybe what I'll simply do is say take a list of log fields and some text, something like that. Okay, so this is fields. And then we say logger with fields, logger. And then we can say fields joined onto that. Okay, and now I'm actually calling it, I can say something like, what do I want to say here? I want to say, what's the field going to be called? I was going to say the payment ID. And this is equal to the UID that we've been given. That's when we're depositing money. Listing the account, I don't have anything else to add. When we're getting an account, I can log the ID of the account that we are listing. Okay, so the point is I want to see what it's like to throw on extra fields as we go. Is it easy to just introduce new fields to our log entries? So if I reload that, but I can also go to this slash something. Do I just put the UID at this point? Let's find out. It's several weeks since I wrote this. There we go, that looks like it gets back. Yeah, that's the account and that's the ledger for that account. So here we go, the first one. Just says this, and then the second one will contain the payment ID at the end. Cool. Waiting for time, almost there. What's something else I want to change? It kind of is, I I would like to be able to modify the logger without calling run logger. So I'd like to be able to say something like log.withField. Actually, no, that's not safe because the logger's shared. So maybe every time you call it, you have to add these fields on. It doesn't support a kind of hierarchy of log fields. So it might be that in some simple router, or maybe even here, you might stick the payment ID on, and then there'll be loads more things that log it later. So what I really want to do is get a different log instance back. So it might be I need to add another argument to info. So somewhere you have a logging effect and you say, give me the logger you currently have. And then you add fields onto it. So you haven't a logger. I can sketch this out, right? So you could say something like let logger, it doesn't exist yet, but log.getLogger. And then you could say, in fact, you could probably just say logger with fields, get the logger back, and then add the fields into there. And then you can use that logger later on. So you could say log.info logger, and with this payment ID can be up to here. Something like that. The reason for doing that is it would then mean that I can add this field on once and then keep using this logger. But I think this requires more thought because I also, I have this effect, it's got a logger in it, but actually I probably don't want that. I probably want to be able to pass a logger down to say, I filled in some of these fields for you, and now I'm going to give you a logger when I'm calling another function, and use this logger for anything. So the things that get called from here are given a base logger that's populated with information that is relevant to this particular route through the code. So maybe the logging effect is not actually something that's got an info, and maybe it does, I don't know. But it's the logging effect itself is just saying, given a logger and some kind of and given the logger and a message, maybe that's what it is, given the logger a message, log this in however you want to log it. So it could be a JSON log, it could be putting a file, it could be stood out, it could be just some text, whatever. But the actual passing in of the logger might be slightly different. So maybe this wouldn't have get logger, but it might have something like get app logger or base logger. That might be the way to go, actually. So if you wanted to log without adding any fields, just with whatever is in the base logger, you could say log.info log.getBaseLogger, and then a message, something like that. And I could probably hide this and just say like base logger info, maybe something like that. So if you don't have anything fancy, you're not given a logger, but it also it opens up the possibility of saying this. So you're given a logger, and then you can say logger with fields, and you're not going to grab the base logger from here, but the one that you've been given. You probably wouldn't do it at this level. You probably wouldn't do it at the API level because you're starting off from a brand new request. It's for things further down. Yeah, okay. So I'm not going to fix it now. Having done the work, oh, I want my payment ID back. Okay, I think the work of adding fields to the logger is still good. So all of this stuff, the with field stuff, and this thing for constructing it, I think is still good. Test for that is good. But I think the interface in the effect is no longer good. So I actually think this should take a logger, and this should just be the base logger. So we have something called base logger. Doesn't take anything and returns log logger. I can export that. Base logger. And then this should be really quick to implement. We're going to say base logger is what's this going to be? It's logger. Oh, pure logger, sorry. So you can get the base logger back out again, but this I think shouldn't take fields, it should take a logger. And maybe that's what I'll pick up next week. So instead of taking log fields, it'll just take a logger. And then at that point, yes, it still needs to do some work, right? I think here we're going to stick the time at the log level as fields into there and then JSON encode it. Yeah, let's do that. So logger with fields, logger, and then those things. Yeah. Let's call this L. Call this L prime. Let's call that L prime. And then what did I say? It was like base logger info, I think it was. Which takes just text and log m of that. Again, I want to export that, so that's base logger info. And base logger info, given some message s, some string s, is going to be, I really want to call it info, I don't know how to do that yet. Can I just call it info? With the logger, which is logger, and s. No, I don't have access to the logger. Okay, I don't know how to call an effect from another effect. Well, that's okay, I can... create a function, right? I can say log level. So what's this going to take? It's going to take level, which is text. It's going to take a logger. Probably put the logger first on that everywhere else. Not going to put that first because I think maybe some tricks with the log level. So logger and message, which is text, and it's going to produce whatever this is. So it's going to be f of these things. Is that right? Don't think it knows what E's are at this point. Oh, I can tell it though, because I know what they are. IOE. Oh, E's. So log level, given some level, and logger, and the message. Then we're going to get the current time. We'll say L is equal to logger with fields, and then give it that logger. This is going to be level. Current time is that. Message, I called it message again. It's not L prime, it's L. It's all very broken because I haven't filled this in, but it should be something at log level. And info and logger. Not the logger, L in this case. L and S. And then this can be log level info logger S. Okay, merge type A with unit. Okay, so it doesn't return anything. I know that now. Looks like it might work. So log info null node takes this. But what we can say is, I'm going to stop a minute ago. I got sidetracked. That logger is log dot base logger, except not really. It's going to be logger dot with fields log dot base logger, and then these are fields, which is payment ID is equal to UID. Oh, not quite. Okay, so we can say base logger is log.base logger. I might write this in a helper. Then we can say base logger. And then here we can say log.info logger. Okay, looks a little bit longer. It is a little bit longer, that's why it looks longer. But it does also mean that I can reuse this logger with the extra field added onto it. This could be better, right? So I could say log dot with fields. So much I'll do this in one step. I still think I want access to the base logger, but I can go and write with fields very quickly, I think. Let's see how quickly. Not that quickly because this is stuck. Okay, base logger and then with fields. And what's this going to take? It's going to take a list of log field, and it's going to turn log m logger. So we need to import log field first of all. Well, that's good enough. I need to export with fields. I need to write it. Okay, I'll stick it here. So with fields, given some fields, it's just going to be logger dot with fields, the base logger, and the fields, and pure of that. Okay. So now we can just say logger is equal to that. Okay, it's getting a bit better. This was base logger info. And then this one is that this. I might get rid of base logger info and just keep this pattern. We ask it for the log fields. We can ask it here for the base logger. Then we can just say info, give it a logger. There we go. Okay, and then back into here, and I think I can get rid of this. Okay. Add some others as well, just for fun, right? We must stop though. So error would be that. We'll export error. Can't call it error, that's a terrible name. Oh, tricky, what do we call it? I might say import prelude hiding error. So error will take a logger and some text and say log m that. Now hopefully I can export error and error with some logger and some message is log level error ls. There we go. So now I can say log.error and give it some message. So in here, as well as throwing a static error. So here, I can say that, but I could say log.error, whatever logger we have, and show the error. Not show the error. T show error. T dot pack. Show of error. What is wrong thing? Oh. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay, sorry, I was thinking I can make this even nicer and I can say with error and I can take this thing, which is a showable, but anyway, we're good enough for now. So I'm a little bit happy with the logger implementation and the way you use it. Like you can chuck fields on it. I think this is a little bit longer, but I prefer it by explicitly getting the logger back and then passing it back in. Here it seems a little bit unnecessary, but it keeps the same pattern going. Okay, cool. Gonna stop there. Otherwise I'll just keep fiddling with loggers for the rest of my life. Thank you for watching along. No idea what I'm gonna do next week. I'll find out next week. But yeah, until then, thanks for watching and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.